Hey, fasting family. Thanks for checking out today's broadcast. My name is Jonathan, and today is day 226 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. A little bit about me, if this is your first time checking out my videos. I'm 39 years old, married with a few kids, and at the end of last year, I found myself at the highest weight that I had ever been. I was 520 pounds, and I decided that I needed to do something about being 520 pounds. So I kind of was looking or trying to think of all of the different ways I've lost weight over the years and trying to kind of find the best way for me to lose weight. And to start off, I felt like just abstaining from food, just removing it from the equation for a little bit was the right thing to do. So I started off with a 30-day water fast. As I got to the end of the 30 days, I decided to push it, and I ended up completing a 42-day, 1,000-hour water fast. And in that time, I lost 90 pounds. Since then, we've switched to a whole food plant, or I've switched to a whole food plant-based diet with no added salt, oil, or sugar. I did do a short fast for 10 days in the after the 42-day fast, but I've lost an additional 90 pounds since that first fast to bring my total weight loss to over 180 pounds. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear them. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I know where I'm at, the weather was really nice. I was out in the sun a lot over the weekend. Carrie saying hi. Hi, Carrie. I hope everything's going great at home. But yeah, so since Friday, a decent bit has happened for me. I had some meetings Friday night. That's why I ended up having my stream an hour early on Friday. I had a stream at 3 p.m. on Friday instead of 4. And I had some meetings that I went to Friday night. They went great. One of the things that ended up happening was I was in a real time crunch, and it was kind of up in the air how much time I had. So when I got home, I was wearing just kind of shorts and a t-shirt, and I had to leave very quickly to go up to my meeting. But then when I got up there, I had a little bit of time. And so I got up to where I was going, and it's a small town, and I needed to find some clothes. And so I was hoping maybe that they would have a Walmart, and they didn't end up having a Walmart, but they did have a hardware store. It's called Tyson's, but it's a hardware store, and they, on the Google listing, it just says general goods. And so I was like, well, I can go and maybe I'll find something. And I ended up going in, and the clothing was right up front. So they had clothing, which was great to see. It's a hardware kind of farm supply store. And so lots of denim and overalls and different, Carhartt hoodies and things like that. And I kind of looked through the first couple racks that were by the door, and they were actually clearance racks, and they were long sleeve, but they had some items that were 3X on that rack. And so I was like, well, at least there's a shot that I'll be able to get a shirt if they had 3Xs on the rack here. And so I poked around, and I did end up finding a button-up shirt that had short sleeves that it was kind of sad that I ended up I still purchased a 4XL shirt, which kind of sucks because I'm getting real close to being in all kinds of 3Xs, but it was just the shirt I tried on and it fit, and I didn't have a ton of time either, so I wasn't going to get picky and try to find different things. The other thing I was worried about was pants. I needed to get some jeans. And I believe I probably was towards the larger sizes of the pants that they had, but they did have pants that fit me as well. So, and a belt. So I was able to get a full outfit from the store. All of the sizes were still larger than you'd probably find in most department stores. I was kind of talking to Carrie about it last night. It was nice that I was able to find the clothing, but it is sad that, that's becoming normal enough that they have a variety of options in those sizes. And so, anyways, I was able to grab some clothes, had the meeting, everything went really well at the meeting. And, kind of throughout the thing, I talked myself into a workout on Saturday, and I ended up doing a bike ride that they were holding from one town to another town near me. And I talked myself into hopping on a bike and doing that ride with them. And I'm gonna pull up the timer here and everything. So this is the computer that I had on my bike. And I might try to pull my Garmin up here to see, but the bike computer had tracked everything I did. My watch, when we would stop, I would hit the button to pause the tracking, and then we'd get water and and hang out for a minute, and then we would ride off. And I'd get riding off, and a couple minutes into the ride, my watch would beep that I had forgotten to turn it back on. And so I would turn it back on. So the watch has a different reading for distance, even though it shows all of the travel that I did. Like it seems to have recorded a lot of the workout, and I'll go through that in a minute here. But the bike ride, there was 3 hours of riding, I believe is what this is. And that makes about sense. We left at 8 a.m. We got to where we were going around 11:30, and we stopped a couple times. They mostly stopped for me because it was a longer ride, and they are much better conditioned at riding than me. But I had done a bike ride last week, just around me here on the riverbed, and it's almost all flat. And I rode 15 miles on that last week. And I've just, like I kind of said last week a lot, I'm gonna jump in and, I'm gonna work out hard, and I'm gonna work out longer than I think I am able to work out. And that 3 hours was just awesome. And I'll go through that, and hopefully it'll kind of, on the Garmin, it'll show the workout, like the ups and downs, because the road we went on had lots of hills and there's lots of ups and downs. So it was much different than the 15-mile trail ride I did. But I did do the whole ride from town to town. It was 34.2 miles. And it was awesome to get it done. It was extremely difficult while I was in it, but I couldn't have asked for kind of a better scenario for me. I was with a small group of people. Probably there was between 10 and 15 people riding. Probably closer to 10 people riding, but we had multiple support crews or vehicles kind of around us to help keep traffic off of us, or off of me specifically in the end, because I was much, like I said, I was much slower than the rest of the riders. So the pace vehicle that we had was essentially right behind me. But for not having a lot of experience on roads, and just in riding in general, it was really nice to have that vehicle behind me kind of as protection for me. Then, like, when I was going up the hills, I was crawling up the hills very slowly, especially towards the end. and having that vehicle behind me. And it was actually funny because the vehicle was like a Dodge Ram, 1 ton with a diesel engine in it. And so it was really loud, and they were just kind of idling behind me. You know, like when we were going up hills, they would have to kind of hit the gas. And it was an older couple that were in there, and I'm sure that they were very nice, and they were very kind. But I can't imagine the things that they were saying watching my slow butt just kind of keep pedaling up the hill, pedal, 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 pedal. I did the whole route. I had to get off my bike one time because the chain was causing, or the chain fell off because I had downshifted too quickly. And I haven't been riding this bike. I mean, I have a total now of 50 miles of riding under my belt on this bike. And at that time I was 15 miles or 16 miles into, and I downshifted while going up the hill and the chain fell off. I was able to get the chain back on, and it was early in the ride, so I was able to hop back on the bike and keep going. If that had happened at the end of the ride, I might have just thrown my bike in the back of the truck and had them give me a ride in. But, it got to a point where I knew it was going to be between 32 and 35 miles that we were riding. And after about the 25-mile mark, there was really nothing that was going to stop me from just keep on pushing. I mean, there was a pain from the riding on the seat, but I had purchased some padded shorts on Friday because I was thinking about doing this ride, but I didn't know that I was going to do it. But I had purchased some riding shorts, which made a huge difference. I'm sure I would have quit had I not had that additional padding kind of under my butt here. Awesome Pigeons checking in saying, hey, everybody. Hey, Awesome. I saw the photos yesterday in the Discord. Those are great. You really have totally changed the way you look. If anybody is new or hasn't been around, Awesome has been on his weight loss journey for longer than I've been losing weight here. He's lost a total of 181 pounds. He went from 420 pounds. He's now 239 pounds. And he shared some update photos on our Discord, and there's a link in the description below. If you wanted to join the Discord, or if you want to check out the Discord, you can click on that link and see the photo that Awesome put up. But yeah, man, you're looking great. Carrie says you look amazing too. Yeah. We were talking about it last night. It's just wild how different you look from your beginning to your end photo. I'm sure your confidence is through the roof, and you're kicking butt. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And then you said you had increased your goal to lose more weight, which I thought that was awesome. Getting down closer to 220, I think is what you said, or getting to a lower weight. I don't know if you mentioned a weight, but that's awesome. I'm really proud of you. And it's great to see you down at that weight and kind of see like you're so close to that, where I'm wanting to get to, that weight wise. So that's awesome. Yeah, you're welcome. Awesome. So keep it up. So yeah, with the bike ride. So yeah, I kind of knew I was going to bike ride. So I had bought some bike shorts. I actually got this computer here to keep track of the record because I knew it would do a better job than my watch, because, and obviously that's true because my watch has the human element of me not hitting the start stop button on the thing. But one of the things that happened, so the chain came off, and then I did have to stop one time because when I bought this computer, there in order to measure the cadence, how many times, how fast you're moving the pedals around in a revolution, there's a magnet that is inside this rubber little band, I guess you would call it, that you put around the where it goes from the gears to the pedal. I don't know what you would call that. But it goes around that. And so like you go from that stem, and then every time it passes the sensor that's mounted onto the frame of the bike, it counts your pedal, and then it calculates how many pedals per minute that you're doing, and then displays that if you want to have that on the display, which I did have it on the display a lot because I was trying to just kind of keep it at like 60 to 70, you know, but as I get better with bike riding, I'll be able to do a better job at keeping a cadence and shifting to match that cadence. But the annoying thing about that is it's just a piece of rubber that is around the edge. And I think that because I was wearing just regular tennis shoes and moving my feet around a lot, I might have been kicking that rubber band and causing it to move. And then it got to a point where it was hitting the frame of the bike every time I pedaled past that spot. And so it was, and it would have been kind of like when I was pushing down on my right foot, because it would have been as it was coming up on my left side, and it would just kind of nick the frame. And it was just this rubber thing, but I could feel it. And just mentally, it was really draining to be like, there's that. And it probably was barely causing any slowdown at all. But just to have that feeling of that thing hitting every single time. And so I did get off one time to adjust that. And then later in the ride, I felt confident enough to actually reach down while I was riding and push it down or to adjust it without getting off, because it was one of those things where I didn't want to get off because I was worried that I was going to just not want to get back on. And then this also measures the average speed and then the max speed. So my average speed was about 11 miles per hour with a maximum speed of 27 point, I think that was a point. I guess it could be 0.8. I can look at let me look at it here. So, yeah, 27.8 miles per hour was the maximum speed that I did. And it was early on, I was, I trudged up the uphill, and then they waited for me, and then we were going downhill, and I just shot downhill, and I was like, well, I'm going to take the momentum when I can get it. And I was downhill, and I actually rode with the pack for a good bit. And then I had to, they ended up like passing me. Like it was something where it was nice to be in the pack and to not have that headwind hitting me, but I just couldn't keep up with my size and just my experience on a bike as well. I think that, and then it shows that I burned, because this thing I put inside what my weight is. So it says that I burned 3,256 calories in the 3 hours that I was working out. And so I definitely felt like I had a calorie burn. I felt like it was a great workout. Overall, the, when you do a workout like that, there's concern about the soreness afterwards and the recovery. And so I was pretty nervous that yesterday I was going to be sore. And I mean, there's soreness. I used muscles that I haven't used in a long time, and I use them a lot. And on a couple of those uphills, I was just kind of, I didn't even look at the hill. Like coming up to it, I was like, that hill looks far too long, for me to make it up. And so I would just put my head down and I just pedaled. And if it got tougher, I would downshift. If I was starting to get a little bit of momentum, I would just pop up a gear or two if I could. And I just kept pedaling. And I was so happy to get to those tops of those hills. the thing I was gonna pull up here to see is if I can get it to show me the bike ride. Okay. So yeah, so this is gonna be the bike ride and everything that we did. So like I said, the watch time and the reason why it says 6:27 and not the 34 is because I didn't have my watch on calculating the distance the whole time. It also had a different average speed of 9.1 instead of the 11 that my thing had. But what I thought was neat here is that it really shows a great map of where like the hills were and where I really got slowed down. So like this first stretch straight north, I did a pretty good job keeping up with the group. And then after the 1 mile mark between like mile 1 and mile 2 there is definitely where I was lagging behind. And anywhere where it's red, that's probably where like that right after mile 1 there, that's probably where I was at the fastest there. And then throughout the rest of the ride, anywhere where it's red is definitely a downhill, which you can kind of tell after that where it says 136 in there to where it says Goose Lake. There must be a big downhill there. Awesome Pigeon says he lives in Western North Carolina and love mountain biking, but haven't been able to find one for sale since the start of COVID. Every bike shop I go into doesn't have anything less than 2,000. Also, that's a cool app. What is it? Okay, yeah. So the biking, yeah, we ran into that. I ended up buying a hybrid bike and not a road or mountain bike specific. And I'm pretty sure I probably paid $100 more than what the bike would have been worth pre-COVID. We were looking at some road bikes and they're just extremely expensive. And, you know, and it's something where if you're going to be putting time into it and just buying something cheap is not worth it. So yeah. But that's awesome. Or that's, you know, I hope you're able to find something that's not too expensive. You know, I thought about trying to look on like Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace to see if there was something to find, because we actually have an old road bike that my brother had taken into the shop to get fixed up because it was going to be cheaper to fix up this. It's like a Cannondale, which I don't think makes bikes anymore. But we're going to go take it in and get it fixed up so that he has a bike to ride, or at least we're going to see if it works out for us. I mean, at the very least, we could probably sell it and make a couple bucks. So the app you were asking about too. So this is the Garmin Instinct app, or this is the Garmin app that I have connected to my Instinct watch. And I thought the app was pretty cool. When I was recording like my heart rate and stuff while I was doing the fasting. And then, I really didn't use the app a whole lot. And now that I started working out, I got into using the app, and yeah, it really is nice. Like, it's kind of great how it shows, like I said, the different speeds I was going coming out of Goose Lake. I was real slow coming out of there. This hill here was rough. Like, you can tell, you can just see that hill the whole way. Or that whole section was just a hill from there to there. And then really once we got into town, it was fine. You know, like, I think that the group waited for me right around this area here. And we rode into town together, which was nice. But yeah, so the measurements on this are a little bit off, but it does have the map. It does have some different things. And that, you know what, that wasn't between where it had 1 and 2. That was between, those were 5 mile sections, I think is what they're representing. Yeah. And so I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure it out. But I'm the other guy had a computer that said it was 34 um uh 34 34 miles as well as my bike computer did. So I assume that it has something to do with me not hitting the resume button. The other thing I felt like it showed was it shows my heart rate, which I think it was up to 181's been my maximum. Average was 153. Really that section there in the middle where it's down was the one time we kind of stopped for a decent bit. And then yeah, this was the temperature. So it was 99 degrees outside at one point, which was rough. It was really hot. And then ideally you probably want to spend more time in zone 2 or maybe zone 3 while working out. I spent most of the time in zone 4, if not zone 5. So that's going to be something that gets better over time as well. So Awesome says, yeah, that's the problem. I'm a fan of the bike company Specialized, and they make great bikes, but they're always sold out of their stuff in the $700 mark. Yeah, in fact, that's my brother who took the Cannondale in. He is waiting to see how he fits on the Cannondale before he was going to pull the trigger on buying I think it was from Specialized. I think it was a road bike from Specialized. So yeah, that's another great company, and I see a lot of people riding those bikes around. So yeah, that bike ride was my big thing from the weekend though. I mean, it did take a lot out of me doing the bike ride, or it didn't take as much out of me as I expected. I kind of talked about the soreness a little bit. I expected to be sore Sunday. I wasn't as sore as I thought. When I got up this morning, laying in bed, I was like, oh man, my legs are really sore. And then really, as soon as I got up and started walking around, there was no problem at all. So that was really nice. And it was so far, it's nice to not have that, I'm so used to working out and doing heavy lifting of weights too. Like for me to do working out and it to be all cardio centric is way out of the normal kind of workouts that I'm used to doing or I've ever done. So I'm used to being a weekend of working out and slinging weights and doing bench presses and squats and cleans and farmers carries and kettlebells, and I haven't touched or done any of that stuff this time, and it's all been cardio, and so far it's all been outside too, which has been really nice. I'm trying to work out getting the I don't know why it had it like that, but anyways, I'm trying to work out getting the swimming pool going, but it has been a little bit more difficult as far as getting a strong enough current. And I knew it was going to be probably the case that the current wasn't going to be strong enough from the pump that I have. I'm not going to mess with getting any stronger pump at this time, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a combination of the flow of water coming towards me, and I'm going to take like a elastic strap or some sort of something to tether myself to on the backside, so that while I am swimming, it's holding me back, as well as having that water kind of push into my face, I think will be beneficial. Or that'll be a way for me to be able to get swimming in outside at my house, because that's going to be the thing I'm going to have kind of the toughest time getting practice doing, is the swimming. I can grab my bike and ride anywhere, or you can just start running at any time. So, and that's my plan tonight, is to go out and do a run. I'm going to see if I can do another 5K tonight and see what happens. My left knee has given me a little bit of a just walking around the couple times I had to walk around here the last couple hours, my left knee's been just giving me a little bit of a, I don't know, just it hurt, not hurts, but it's just a little bit uh tender, I guess we'll say. So I'm gonna try to see how long it takes me to get another 5K done. Now that I've done one and kind of know what to expect, I do need to get a lot of time off of my running, and that's just going to be a lot of practice and repetition because I don't have that experience as a runner. I never would choose to run, so it's not been something that I have that much information for. So, let's see. I think those are the big things, though. I mean, I did have a question on, it might have been Reddit that I had a question asking about loose skin. And I do have loose skin. I've addressed it a couple times that it's gonna happen. I mean, I've really been in a position where like I have to embrace that I'm gonna have loose skin. I mean, I any loose skin that I have, I mean, it wasn't like the skin showed up because I lost the weight. The skin was there, it just wasn't loose. It was tight skin because it was filled with fat, and so while because they were asking if I had looked into skin removal surgery or looked into the cost or any of those things, and I will. I'm sure look into those things when I get to that point, but for me to worry about those things when I'm still 120 pounds away from my goal, and really, if I were to get skin removal surgery, I would want to be kind of as thin as I could be before I had it done. Maybe, I guess I don't know much about it either. Like I haven't looked into it. I don't know when the best time would be to do it, if it is to wait or to do it right after you lose the weight. I haven't looked into it, but I'm not concerned about loose skin is I guess the point I want to get across is, it's going to be there. I, as much as I wish it wasn't going to be there, it's going to be, Awesome says he's got an appointment with the plastic surgeon in 14 days. He's getting kind of stressed. Yeah, no, that's great because you're right there. I mean, that's the weight that you're gonna want to be at when I'm gonna want to be at when I even start talking about those things. And like my doctor, when I went and got my blood work done, she had mentioned loose skin because I think she could tell I had some loose skin just from the exam. And I kind of expressed to her that I wasn't that worried about it. And she was like, no, that's fine. You're going to want to have it removed when you're at your goal, when you get down, not just for aesthetics, but for your health as well. Because if you have those flaps of skin, having that moisture, having them kind of folded over each other isn't healthy either. And so it's definitely something I'll look into. And yeah, I'd love to know how your appointment goes with the plastic surgeon. My sister did have the some stuff done when she had lost a bunch of weight years ago. She had surgery to have skin removed. And then actually my older brother had skin removed, but it was he was having another surgery on his stomach and they were able to do it at the same time. So it's something I will look into, but I will manage to, I'll buy compression clothing and I'll use powders or do what I have to do until I get a lot closer to my goal weight before I get worried about it. Cause so it's just a consultation. You'll get more information and report back. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, no, I'd love to hear what they say. And, I guess I'd love to know how you're feeling about your loose skin, but maybe we can talk about that another time or when, after you had that consultation, because I don't have a lot more time today. In fact, I'm going to get out of here today, but, I went over the big things. Bike ride. I'm gonna try to go run tonight. See how that goes. I this plant-based diet. I mean, if I have to give any contribution to my soreness, that was a big part of me even deciding to do the ride. Was that all the stuff people say that are on plant-based diet about how well they recover and how their endurance is so much better. And I mean, I'm 180 pounds lighter than I was a year ago. So doing anything is easier for me than it was a year ago. And it's probably easier than a lot of people that are at 340 pounds because I'm on a frame, or I have muscles essentially that were hauling around 180 pounds more than that for a couple years. So so I went in kind of confident that I was going to be able to do it. I've seen people do rides like this after riding for hundreds of miles in much worse medical and physical condition than me. So I knew physically it was doable. I just didn't know how fast I would do it. And I felt like I did it in a decent amount of time. I think it was reasonable pace, and it was great to do. So yeah, so that's gonna be it for me today. I'll let you guys know more tomorrow about the soreness and how that run for me goes tonight, because that's gonna be a good, that'll be a good run, and good to see how it goes doing that, because doing that second bike ride was great. But anyways, I'm going to get out of here. If you guys haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click on the bell icon to turn on notifications so you'll get alerted when I go live, which is generally at about 4 p.m. on weekdays. Sometimes I go earlier, like last weekend, or last Friday. I have an Instagram, and that is at Fasting. That is FAHSTING on Instagram. And then I mentioned it earlier, but there is a Discord as well. The link for that is down below. That should be active for the next 7 days. If you're checking this video out later and you want a link, hit me up or find a more recent video. And you guys all have a great evening. If you haven't started your diet, start it now. There's no reason not to get started right this second. You guys all have a great evening.